Today's episode shows a slightly calmer side of Lake Superior and that not all shoots go according to plan.
Well, here I am at Presque Isle on the shores of the beautiful Lake Superior, and as you can see, we are just past sunset. Sunset actually set behind me back down there somewhere, and I came out to try to get a time lapse of the sunset because there were these clouds out here, and quite honestly I thought they were going to catch the light, being that there's no clouds back over toward the sunset, so I thought the light would come through pretty well. But I got slowed up making dinner, so I didn't quite get out here as quickly as I wanted to. But when I did get out here, went to set up my slider to do a time lapse. Pretty quickly realized that the light was not going to last that long, so I abandoned the slider idea and decided to just set up my tripod and try to get a shot. Kind of did, but in the amount of time that it took me to set up my tripod, the light just absolutely died. Those clouds did go a good pinkish purple for a little while, but that light didn't last for more than 2 minutes probably, which is just an example of how quick it can go. Sometimes it lasts for 20 minutes and it sticks around well after sunset. There's a good pink glow in the sky, and other times it's there and then it's gone. So anyway, I came out here to the end of the rocks, you can see, back into the cove there, and then out into the lake. And I came out here to talk about a shoot. Let me switch arms here. Getting tired. Talk about a shoot that I did earlier today. My mom was in town with the dog for the weekend, and we decided to go down to the lakeshore, run the dog a little bit before they had to jump in the car and head home. And while I did that, I got some good shots down on the lakeshore with the fall color and the waves, and I put my polarizer on to take the glare out, and it really brought the colors in the water out pretty well. So I'm really happy with how it went, but I'm in a bit of a artist pickle here. 2 shots, pretty much the same shot, but one vertical and one horizontal, and I like them both, and like I said, they're almost identical shots, but I really like them both for their own reasons. The horizontal shot really extenuates the shoreline, makes you feel like you're standing there, and it really kind of draws you deeper into the picture. But the foreground isn't quite as strong. It's not that big a deal because there is still foreground and it is still really good. Still great shot, I love it. But then the other one, the vertical one, you don't get as much of the shoreline. Shoreline kind of goes off frame instead of kind of taking you out into the lake. But because I was able to do a vertical shot, I got a good amount of the rock that I was sitting on. I got a good amount of that in the foreground with the water shine and the kind of the watercolor and all that, and that looks really good. And then you get drawn up from the cracks in the rocks, you get drawn up into the forest, which really the colors actually came out better than I was expecting they would. But yeah, I'm not really sure which one to do, so I'll be putting both. I'll have both on screen here for you, but maybe let me know in the comments what you think, which one is better, and kind of help me decide. I'll probably put up both. I'll definitely share both on my social media, but as far as printing them goes, I kind of want to decide one or the other. Maybe I'll print them as a pair. Not really sure, but yeah. So thanks for coming along. I will try to do more filming while I'm shooting in the future, but for now, this is all I have to do. So enjoy sunset from beautiful Lake Superior.
Saw me doing down there was setting up a time lapse. Came back out to Presque Isle, same place I came yesterday to try and shoot the sunset. I came out a little bit earlier this time, got off work a little early, had some extra time, so I came out a little bit earlier. Sunset's still going down. It looks like there is a break in the clouds that the sun's about to come through, and hopefully that's going to throw some really good light on these clouds. The water's a little choppy, so I've gone for a longer exposure. I think I'm shooting about a half second, and that's going to smooth the water out a bit. It's not going to look so choppy in the final time lapse. And I'm not sure exactly how much light we're going to get. It looks like we're going to get a good amount poking through. You can see I've come behind these trees because it is pretty windy, so even this audio might not turn out real well. But here, I'll come down and show you the sunset real quick. So that's what we're looking at, a lot of cloud, but I'm going to hope some of that sunlight filters through and lights the clouds up. Like I've seen it do a few times, and I've seemed to have missed every time. So, yeah. So time lapse is set up, and I'm shooting every 5.5 seconds with a half-second exposure. My f-stop is 13, I think. I've got a graduated filter on it, so it's dark up top. Graduated neutral density. And bringing the sky down, the highlights in the sky down will allow me to expose for the water, so I can do my longer shutter speed. And my ISO is real low. ISO is 100. I'll keep all the noise out that I can. Although, not really looking like this is going to blow up into anything. So, yeah, we're just going to kind of hang tight. It's still about 15 minutes before sunset, so we got a little bit of time. And, yeah. We'll see what the sunlight brings us. Okay, well, we'll see how that comes out. It seems like I got about maybe 140 shots into the time lapse, and for whatever reason the controller stopped talking to the camera and it stopped taking pictures, but it still kept moving. It kept doing each incremental move, but it wouldn't take a picture. So I'm gonna get home. When I get home, I'm going to give it a check, make sure it can, I don't really know what's up with that. I hope the cord is not going bad, but we'll see. I still salvaged it. I think I still got a few decent still shots, if nothing else, and at the very least I got probably a 4 or 5 second time lapse. All in all, it was kind of a sunset that didn't quite turn out. Had all the potential in the world to really light up with something beautiful, but I think there's just a little too much cloud at the horizon. So
at this point, I really just started to ramble, as I was still very early on in the stage of recording this kind of stuff and wasn't necessarily comfortable talking to the camera and had trouble staying on topic, or I would get on a thought and just keep rolling. And I quickly here got onto some thoughts that weren't necessarily really related to the shoot that I was just on. So, yeah, I mean, that's just something that it's going to take time with doing this kind of thing. It's not, I always like being behind the camera, as I've always said. I enjoy being behind the camera more than in front of it. So being in front of it is definitely something that I'm getting used to. I'm still getting used to it now. There's still times where I feel weird, especially when there are people around talking to, holding the camera up, talking to the camera. You feel it's kind of weird, and I'm definitely still getting used to that. But, in these early shoots, I was not used to it, was not, a big fan of it yet. So I just kind of started talking about some stuff that wasn't really relevant to the shoot. So, as I said in the video, I had some technical difficulties with the time-lapse. The controller, I think if I remember correctly, that was 2 years ago now, I think if I remember correctly, the cord had kind of gotten beat up. It had this nasty habit of kind of like, as the slider would get to one end, the carriage would tend to run the cord over if you weren't careful about keeping it out of the way, which I learned, all right, now I gotta keep an eye on that. But early on I didn't, and I think I kind of beat the cord up that way. So it was an easy fix. But basically what ended up happening is the controller wasn't talking to the camera as effectively as it should have been, and that caused inconsistent timing between shots, an inconsistent movement between shots. Just all kinds of stuff, like just kind of little things that when you see the time lapse here in a sec, as good as the light was and as good as the sunset almost got, and as dramatic as the scene was, the technical side really just prevented this shot from, the little technical issues just kind of prevented this shot from really being what it probably could have been if I could have got a good shot on it. So we'll go ahead and take a look at the time lapse here. Yeah, and you can see some of the jittering, you can tell that there are some issues. It's not as smooth, it's not as polished, and unfortunately everything I could polish I did. The issues were all in camera. So as always, if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future episodes. I'm starting to get to some pretty cool stuff coming up, so definitely want to make sure you're ready for that. And yeah, as always, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you on the next one.